Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday, members. This is your monthly government affairs update from your association. We've got a little bit of a special presentation today. So Nathan Cady is our Central Texas field rep for the Texas Association of Realtors, and he's going to give us a little presentation, a little quick update on some of our priorities that were passed in the Texas legislature in the regular session, and run through some of the wins, some of the victories, some of the things that still need to be done. So I'll turn it over to Nathan and we can hear what he has to say. So Nathan, floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me. Really excited to get started here. As you know, the 87th Texas legislature has, had their sine die on, at the end of May, but, the work still continues. But I just wanted to give a brief update on the legislative session, as of June. And I think, it really goes to show that, everything affects real estate. As you can see, close to 10,000 bills and resolutions filed this session. And, we had found, about 2,600 that had potential impact on real estate directly. And love to share the one page with you after this presentation so you can share to the members and everything. But wanted to definitely talk about the Realtor Day was a lot different this year because of the pandemic. It's usually one big day, at the Capitol, but we were the only organization to do a event at this scale. So we had worked to schedule meetings with 181 legislators, and each of them had custom talking points to their to their constituents, and also had up-to-date information, so we can be prepared to kind of like direct them in the right way of like what our issues are and how it relates to them. And I think it was great that we were able to do this on Zoom, and it was just really quick and efficient to get a legislator on, whether they were driving or in their office or even meeting with their staffers. And trust me, the staffers are just as important or even more, because they're the ones really doing the day-to-day work. So next year, we'll see. I believe we'll be going back to in person and having it one day, but I think in the future we'll definitely try to have more interactions virtually, because it just showed how easy it is to get in touch with our elected officials that way. These were our legislative priorities. Everything from broadband access, eminent domain authority, property taxes, and even sale price disclosure. I think if you look through this list, I think mostly every bill touches this. Infrastructure was definitely a big deal around not only for the winter storm that we had in February, but I think over the past 10 years, as Texas has grown, we need better transportation. And so all of these are some of the main issues, and you can visit texasrealestate.com/issues to read more in depth. And they're updated every session year. And so our main priorities that we wanted to focus on, and we had to do some adjustments because of the COVID-19 response, and then the February utility outages, which for only like a 5.5 month period, we really had a lot of things changes. But at the end of the day, it kind of turned into a regular session. We thought it was going to be mostly they would pass the budget and it would be over with. And then, we thought we would be talking mostly about, ERCOT and energy. And then it, switched back to a normal session where we were able to focus on our legislative priorities, especially the HOA bill, and we'll touch into that a little bit later on. But I wanted to definitely talk about increasing broadband access. This was a very high priority for the legislation because everyone is working from home, and as realtors, we're always on the road, and some of us are more rural, and we need the best internet connection possible. So what's great about this legislation is that it does establish a new broadband development office. It provides grants to companies and counties and cities to expand broadband in eligible areas, mostly rural. The House Bill 5 did pass both chambers and has been sent to the governor's desk. And it as of June 20th, since it wasn't vetoed, it became law. So I think that was a great success for us. But I also wanted to touch into reforming our civil liability. I think realtors became we were essential to keeping this economy going during the pandemic. We weren't shut down, or and I think that really goes to show how impactful we are, and we drive the Texas economy. So this legislation, known as the Pandemic Liability Protection Act, ensures small business owners like realtors can provide their essential services with protection from certain frivolous lawsuits. For example, someone can't go and sue you for for contracting COVID after you show them a home. And so I think as we get out of the pandemic, we're seeing less of that, and I think that did certainly happen. But we want to make sure that we're protected from any of these frivolous lawsuits that may occur. And that bill did pass, and has been signed into law. This removing discriminatory covenants was definitely a hot topic this year, especially because Senate Bill 30 with Royce West, it was actually named the Royce West law, and it allows property owners to have an easier process to remove discriminatory covenants from their real estate deeds, instead of having to go through the courts and hire an attorney, and it just takes a long time, and it's expensive, and it's to do something that is completely optional to the homeowner. But essentially, if your deed says that a certain individual that's in a certain race group or religion can't live there, and you represent that demographic, that it's unconstitutional to have that language in a deed. So being able to have an easier process to remove that was a win. And the Senate Bill 30 passed unanimously and was signed. And definitely look more into that bill, and see what you can do to remove those covenants if you'd like. This was our, I would say, our bread and butter. I think, bringing balance to the homeowner association was definitely our, most, talked about legislation. We had a call for action, and we had, close to 10,000 people sign our petition. That would go directly to our representatives, and it really made a huge difference. So some of the things that homeowner associations now have to do is one, be more transparent by providing their meeting minutes, their emails, their phone numbers on a website, and also submit information to TREC, and also capping fees at $375, and also it protects people's privacy, and and even goes into making sure that people can protect their homes and not have to go through the HOA to get things to get your personal protection approved. So I think because of the realtors call for action and everyone sharing their experiences at myhoastory.com, which by the way is a that's it's still up and running and you can still submit your responses. That bill was signed into law, and we're really proud of the work that realtors did on the grassroots level to make this a possibility. And it really showed with the results. Over 420 yeses and only 2 nays. I think that really, or 142 yeses and only 2 nays. I think that really goes to show the power that we have as realtors. And then, briefly, I want to touch into the eminent domain reform. This, was, passed both chambers. It definitely, impacts, oil and gas, cattle, and ranchers, to understand their, the process, and also the different ways to, work with companies that might use eminent domain to build a pipeline through your property. So this protects private property rights, and it makes property owners more aware of dealing with these different authorities that seeks to acquire your property. So this was definitely a win for us, and I think that going into the some of the other legislation that we touched on this session, we expand appraisal options. This goes to improve the loan process and help buyers overcome some of the the shortage of timely appraisals with more options, and I think that was and that passed with both chambers and was sent to the governor's desk to be signed. And this will help the loan process, and some and this will also when lending guidelines don't require a full appraisal, this allows certain evaluations that comply with USPAP for any financial transactions. So definitely learn more about that at texasrealestate.com/issues. And also we also looked into and fought for flood disclosure for tenants as well, especially folks in the Gulf area. This is just keeping Texans more informed about the flood risks, and before signing leases by landlords to provide a flood disclosure notice, and that details whether the property is in a 100-year floodplain, and even if the landlord is aware of recent flooding, and information about FEMA flood maps and tenant insurance policies. And that also passed both chambers and was sent to the governor's desk, and it was signed into law. And this kind of goes back into the HOA, but we also had condo association transparency as well. So it requires condo associations to make the association's books and records open and available for owners or their representatives. So this also passed unanimously, and it was sent to the governor's desk and was signed. And this was really cool. We had there's now a we started off with knowyourtaxes.org. That was something that Texas Realtors started to have everyone understand determining what their property tax bills will look like and what their tax rates are at a local level. And now, there's going to be a website that is texas.gov/property taxes that will be operational in 2022, starting in January. So, this is really great for property owners' transparency, and that's really exciting. As you know, I think we're the economic driver, and if we ever have another pandemic again, we will be labeled essential. But and I think, as we move forward into our special sessions, I think we want you to know that any proposal that adds cost, burden, or complications to real property transactions would further decrease affordability and attainability of housing throughout the state. We want to identify those bills and work with the legislator to educate them on the importance of why real estate is the economic driver. And I think that since our priority bills were passed, I think we were able to protect Texas real estate, and there is one bill that must pass, and that is the budget. And I think because of real estate, being open during the pandemic and opening early, we were expecting deep cuts into the next budget, but financial forecasts have improved in the recent months, and now we have signed a $248 billion budget for 2022-2023. Now coming up, we are going to have a special session for redistricting. Every 10 years, the state legislature redraws their districts, and by September 30th, we expect the legislature to be complete. And also, we're going to be adding 2 new congressional seats, which will in 2024 and 2028, the presidential elections, if you win Texas, you're 14% to winning. And I think that's really goes to show that people are moving here for the economic opportunity. And so there's going to be a special session that actually comes sooner, which is I believe July 8th. They're going to be talking mostly about mostly like social issues that don't necessarily touch real estate, but definitely follow that. And that's all I have for everyone. But I want to thank you for your time, and if you want to follow up with me with any questions, definitely talk to Adam about sharing my information, and I'm always available as your Central Texas field rep.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation, Nathan. That was really interesting. Y'all did some good work at the state capitol, getting a lot of things pushed through. So I know we appreciate the work that y'all do. With the special session coming up, I think you're right on July 8th. It was announced the other day, like a couple days ago. So that'll be interesting to watch from all of our perspectives. Agenda is not set yet, so I guess we'll be watching if there does happen to be anything set that could affect realtors in the state. We'll have to watch that. So again, great presentation. And like Nathan said, if you want to reach out to him or myself about anything that happened at the state capitol, please reach out, and I'll give you Nathan's contact, or you can speak to me directly. And yeah, that's all we had for you today. So thanks again, Nathan, for zooming in and giving us an update on what happened in the Capitol. And yeah, y'all have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later.